Hello, this is the RV Living Show. Welcome. I'm so excited to be here with you today. We're going to be talking about three things to consider before buying an RV. These three things are something that you should really think about before your next RV purchase or your first RV purchase. So let's get started. Welcome to the RV Living Show. I'm Luann Street, and we're going to be diving into three things that you might want to consider the next time you buy an RV. So, let me give you a little background on my RV purchase history. So, in 2013, my husband and I purchased a 2008, I think it was, Georgetown, Forest River, Georgetown. And we had no thoughts of full timing at all. And this was going to be a thing that we were doing on the weekends and for vacations to, stretch our vacation budget as well as give us more opportunities to go and do fun things that we wanted to do. So at that point we were part-timers, right? Or what I might call, or what my friend Paulette introduced me to the term, free timer, because that's what you do, right? You RV in your free time. Well, after we experienced that RV for about 2 years, we got that full-time RV bug, and we wanted to really start thinking about what we wanted in a full-time RV rig. And so we started on that journey and bought a 2008 Tiffin Allegro bus. So that was a diesel pusher. It was 43 foot. And we really thought that that was something that we wanted to go full-time in. Well, long story short, we made that happen. And in 2017, we hit the road. 2016, we sold our house unexpectedly and had to move in the rig. Anyway, so we were very grateful to have it at that point. But then after we got on the road for a while and experienced some of the things that happen when you travel a lot or travel full time, is that the bigger your rig is, sometimes it's harder to maneuver around. And we found that that was true for us. We also found out that we really thought that having a gas motorhome was not as terrible as all the people might tell you out there, that go diesel, go diesel. Well, gas is cheaper, especially in today's climate, and a gas rig is also easier to maintain. So then fast forward, right? When I lost him last year, I sold that 36-foot motorhome, that Tiffin open road, and I now own a 2019 leisure travel van that is perfect for me. It's perfect for my solo journey that I'm embarking on. And so, as you can see, I've purchased 4 different RVs. So, I want to talk about these three things that you really need to consider when you're deciding to purchase, and how some of these things came into play in my own decision making, especially when I bought my fourth RV. Okay. So the first thing is, you know, really, I know everyone kind of wants to be told what to do. What should you buy? What should you do? Tell me, because the decision making process is very comprehensive. It can be very overwhelming. All the things to consider, the length, the size, whether to tow, whether to not tow, whether to drive, whether to go big or go small or go home. All the things that, come into thinking about those things, but nobody can tell you what's right for you. But I'm hoping to give you a few tips today that it can help you narrow down that decision making process. So, the first thing that I'm going to talk about is, first of all, depending on where you are in your RV journey, how are you going to use your rig? That's number one. So, deciding how you're going to use it will help you avoid the pitfalls of buying something that is either too large or too small, or isn't giving you the benefit of what you thought you were going to buy it for. So, for instance, right, if you are only going to use it to go to the lake on weekends as a family getaway, you probably don't want a motorhome. you probably want to pull behind. Now, of course, this is all opinions, and you still have to decide this for yourself. But I want you to think and how you're going to process how you're going to use this motorhome. For us, when we bought number 2 motorhome, we knew we wanted full time in it. So what we looked at for that type of rig versus the one that we had, because the Forest River had a short queen in it. So that wasn't going to be something that we wanted for our full-time rig, because we were getting rid of our sticks and bricks, right? So we wanted something that was a little more home, king size bed, and maybe you want to term it spoiled. Can you say RV princess? Washer, dryer, microwave, dishwasher, king size bed. So those were the things that I thought I really needed to have in a full-time rig. So full timing, you really want to figure that out. However, what I have learned over the years, that just because you're going full time doesn't mean that it has to be the biggest rig you can absolutely have. We were super comfortable in our 36-foot motorhome. Super comfortable coming down from a 43-foot. We really didn't get rid of a whole lot of stuff in order to fit into that 36-foot rig. And when we did, we didn't miss any of it. So, a lot of times I think we get into the mentality that when we're going to go full time, then it needs to be the house replacement. And while that could be true for some non-negotiables, that, going the biggest 45-foot, motorhome or fifth wheel that you're going to have to pull down the road, is not always optimal. And those are things that you really need to think about. How are you going to travel? If you're going to travel a lot and you want to move quickly from place to place so that you can see more things, that rig is going to look differently than what I would call a go and stayer. My Southern coming out at me. So, to be able to go and to stay and have that be more home-like and set up and everything for a longer period of time looks differently than hopping in and driving to the next place and having the opportunity to maybe even see things along the way between your destinations. Small, big, no one can determine that for you, only you can, but you need to be thinking through the lens of how you're going to use it. So that was the first thing you want to consider. The second thing I want you to consider is don't be afraid of buying used. I've done both. We've had 3 used rigs and 1 new. If I was to buy again, I would buy used. That's how I feel. That's my opinion. That's how I want that, from all the getting rid of all the kinks and things that come from being in a new rig. The new rig is not tested at the factory as well as, someone else buying it first and getting all the kinks out of it. So finding a well-used rig can really be a benefit to both your pocketbook and your ability to have repairs, or have the repairs or recalls already done before you start embarking on your journey. So the other part of buying used is using an RV inspector to get it, all the way examined before you buy it. And so that maybe what you're looking at as far as repairs go, or that it's perfectly fine and everything's been done and it's good and ready to go. That can give you great peace of mind. Okay, so the third thing that I wanted to talk about today is that who you buy from does matter. So there's 2 things about who you buy from, right? The first one is the dealer. So the dealer may be super important to you if you're a part-timer, free-timer person, or a part-time traveler. That dealer needs to be maybe close to you that you're buying it from, so you can get everything serviced there, or that you identify that the dealer close to you, if you're buying it used somewhere else, can actually support you in the repairs for your rig. So there are a couple things that come into play with that, depending on what they sell at that dealer, depending on the reviews of their service department. A lot of times when you buy it from a dealer, you're dealing with the salespeople who make everything look so beautiful and shiny and perfect. And then you buy it and they're gone and you're trying to get in the service department and they're booked 6 months out. And you can't go on the trip that you want to go on because well, now, okay, this is a real thing. They can't get parts, or there's too many rigs in there to repair, or you can't get everything done at one time. So the other piece to that is who you buy from, what kind of manufacturer you buy from does matter. There are good manufacturers, better manufacturers, and best manufacturers. Now they're all RVs, right? They're all rolling earthquakes. They all go down the road and things rumble and fall and come loose. I mean, RV repair is a fact of life. You're not going to buy any RV that doesn't need something at one time or another, if not maybe every time you travel, depending on what happens. So recently I had my LTV. Everything worked perfect when I bought it. I had everything, it was the awning had gone out, this, that. And so when I got to the Outer Banks, I wanted to put my awning out and it was stuck. Well, I didn't have a ladder high enough to get up there, nor do I think I would have done that. I'm not sure, to pull it out. But then I was able to, at the next place I camped, someone helped me and it loosened it and I was able to put it out. And then the next place I went, I put it out fine and then it didn't go out again after that. So, those are the kinds of things that you can, really encounter when you're traveling all the time. Somehow going down the road made it stick. Maybe it needs, what do you call it? When you oil it. The whole girl in me is coming out right now. But maybe it needs that, right? Or maybe it needs service. But those types of things are going to happen to you on occasion. And hopefully like the awning's not a big deal. As long as it's in, I'm fine, right? I can still travel. I can do all the things. The bigger things that could happen, is when your slide can't come in, knowing how to override that and make sure that you're able to travel again. So back to the whole manufacturer thing, I kind of got off on a tangent a little bit. So finding that manufacturer that has good quality parts, who has a track record of really being that person or that company that comes alongside it and supports you as the consumer, those are manufacturers to look for. Making sure that maybe what's even more exciting, and this excited Brian and I, when we bought a Tiffin, we could go to Tiffin and spend some time there, take it in the bay and get everything fixed at one time. And I know other manufacturers do the same thing. That happens to be just my reference. I know that there are plenty of not high end, but quality fifth wheels, travel trailers, motorhomes that the manufacturer is super supportive and can really help you in that getting the thing fixed and optimized so that you're able to travel and not think about fixing your RV all the time, but really enjoying it. Because I think we've all heard this horror stories of people who buy their rigs and it spends more time in the shop than they do in it traveling. And that is something that you do not want your story to be. So let's recap on some of these three things, right? You want to determine how you're going to use it. You want to make sure that you're buying it for the reason that you want to travel in it or use it for, whether that's weekend camping or full timing, or if you think you want to full time and you are buying a rig now, maybe you want to look at those things and figure out what that looks like for you so that you can figure out what RV you might want to eventually full-time in while you're part-timing now. And then the second thing was, don't be afraid of buying used. Use an RV inspector. Used is not terrible, especially in today's shortages. Used is where it's at. Although I think we're all paying pretty high penny for even used vehicles at this point, but if you want to travel, that's, you got to pay the piper, so to speak. And the last thing is who you buy from does matter, both the manufacturer and the service center or dealer. You really want to kind of read those reviews, make sure that you are entering into a purchase with a company that is reputable and has good reviews. And if you don't know, ask people, ask other people at campgrounds, look at the reviews on Google. You will often find, of course, a lot of people, it's the negative that gets posted, not the positive. Go talk to the people in the service bay. See what they say, not just the salespeople, but see what the service people say about where they work and how they're able to support the customer. All right. Well, next week, so this was a new time change, right? So next week, we're going to be coming back with a new episode of the RV Living Show. And then I forgot the title of it. So I'm very sorry. You're just going to have to trust that it's going to be something that you're going to want to listen to. So I want you to come back next week. Same time, same place. Okay, so we're going to jump into the comments here and see who's here with me live. Oh, okay. So Brad, this is a good point. Besides all your advice, we felt more comfortable buying from an individual. The salespeople at dealers were not forthcoming, to put it nicely. That's a really good point, and I did not talk about that. You're right. Buying from an individual versus a dealer, yes. That's a really good point, Brad. And we have bought now one from a dealer, two from a dealer, and two from individuals. So that experience has also been in part of my experience of buying RVs. So that is a good point. And individuals can be very, very nice, helpful, forthcoming, all of those things. And again, you can still use an RV inspector if you want one on an individual purchase. And what you find is individual sellers, they love their rigs and they've taken really good care of them. And they really genuinely, yes, they want the money back out of it, because they want to either use it for something else or buy another RV, right? But then they also want to see their RV go to good people. They want to see that all those memories that they had in their RV, the new people to create new ones in it. Like it's something that they kind of carries on. It's the pay it forward kind of thing. So that's really cool. Thank you, Brad. Thank you for reminding me. So just in case you need more help buying your RV, whether it's your first one or your next one, I have put out our RV buying method mini course for sale. So you can get it for $27 at this link. And this is a mini course that Brian and I did together, has PDFs that help you shop for your rig. It walks through some of these topics. There are 11 lessons completely in there. We talk about warranties. We talk about what a RV inspector actually does to your rig, and lots of other things that you need to consider when you're buying an RV. So you can go here at streetswander.com/the RV buying method, and you can purchase it. It's on sale right now for $27. And you can let me know if you like it, if it was helpful. If you find that, you needed something else in it, if you buy it, please let me know. I would love to know that this helped you move forward in your RV buying decision, because it really can be overwhelming. It completely 100% can be overwhelming when you're trying to start from scratch and buy that RV. And because it's one of the biggest investments other than our homes that we usually make in our lifetime. And that's to purchase an RV. And so the statistic is that one out of, well, it takes you 3 times to find the rig that you really like to drive. And so if you can eliminate 2 of those and buy right the first time, then you have won, right? You've like really won the game. You've beat the odds, and you're not spending money or losing money by trading or selling and rebuying. So, all right. Well, thank you for joining me tonight. And it looks like one more comment popped up. Oh, here, Brad says, Your course was indispensable. We would have made numerous costly mistakes starting without it. Thanks, Brad. I appreciate that. Yeah, Brad was in our full-time RV framework, and this RV buying method also was included with his purchase when he came on to our to go full time. They wanted information on going full time. That one's going to be released too if you're interested in full timing. But right now, we have this one available, and you can go to this link and get it. Let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, I'll see you all next week. Thanks for joining me. Thank you for joining me for the RV Living Show. I hope this episode helps you in creating an RV life that you love. Until next time, I encourage you to stop wondering and start wandering.